Okay, so here we go. They're all on the piece of wood. These are all, just like I said before, 3/4 pieces. I still have to cut out the 1/2 inch and the 1/4 pieces for the dividers and the body. You can see that there's 4, like 4 heads, 4 antlers, 4 sides. I have no idea exactly why I decided to do 4. Usually when I do multiples of something, like the cradles that I showed you before, it's because I have them ideas about giving them to people. This one I'm not quite that far advanced yet. I just kind of, when I started copying the pattern, I just ended up thinking that I just do 4. So maybe I'll give one to Sparky. The hubby deserves something, I guess. We'll see how it goes. I'm not really sure. But I'm sure I'll figure it out by the time I get this thing all together and finished. So the next step would be is I have to get my 1/2 inch and my 1/4 wood too, so I can do the same thing for this. Cut them out, put them on the piece of wood. But for this section, I can move forward without a 3/4 and a 1/4. Or sorry, without the 1/2 and the 1/4, because this is the 3/4. I can move forward. All I have to do is get the table saw out, which was a very nice present from my hubby. I am a kind of girl that likes power tools usually. I'm not really a girly girl. I like power tools. I like that sort of stuff. Makes it a little strange, I guess, for some people that see women in a traditional role. It was kind of funny the one day when I was cutting some stuff out with a table saw. So I don't have a dedicated spot in this place in our house to do my woodworking, so I kind of set up shop every space I get. So if Dave's gone for the day and I have to cut some pieces of wood, like I'm gonna have to cut this, then that might be the day where I go and I grab the table saw and I set it all up and I start cutting. So there was this one day that's what I was doing. I was cutting some wood and I had the garage door open so you could see me from our street. And this guy was walking by and he see me cut the wood with the table saw and he actually stopped. And he stood there watching me cut this wood with the table saw until I was done. Now it kind of freaked me out because like I work as an electrician. There are other girls in my field. So for me, it's not really weird that girls do stuff with power tools and work with power tools, but I guess that impresses a lot of men, a lot of people, that girls will do that sort of thing. I thought it was funny. I thought it was a little weird. I kind of didn't, I don't know. It was just one of those weird things that happened. It's kind of unexpected. But we're hoping next year maybe that I'll have a shed in the backyard. And I'll do all of the woodworking in that shed and have my tools. And maybe next year I can get myself a brand new scroll saw. Because I kind of just started this whole scroll saw stuff when I seen this Owl Bank coin bank. So, and I thought it was such a cute thing and I wanted to make it. Now, I like making wood projects. I have made them before. Very rare, though. I don't do a lot of it before. I made 2 lamps that are in our bedroom right now. I did that with help of my father. Mission style oak wood lamps. The hardware on them for the electrical part, the harness that holds the lampshade and all that stuff, that kind of is bent now. It's not as sturdy. It's not as good. But fundamentally, the wood is sound. It was a good project. It's kind of hard to clean. That's the only thing I find with it. But I liked mission style. I got those plans. I decided to make it. And then it's kind of been sparingly off and on ever since then. But like I said, when I seen that owl bank, I thought that was just the coolest thing ever. So I decided to make it. And I did make it. It's around here. I never quite finished it though. it's not as good as I would like, but it was my first project. And I have now determined that, it'd be nicer to have some cooler tools like the oscillating sander, so it can do round stuff a lot better than I can cut the round stuff. But you learn these things with practice. But yes, and I bought the scroll saw. I bought a cheap scroll saw because, well, who knew if I was actually going to like this stuff? And I didn't want to spend a whole amount of money if it was something I was just going to do and then sit there and say, I don't really like it. But then I did it and I liked it. And like I said, maybe the owl didn't quite turn out the way it was supposed to. I can maybe show it to you someday. It is here. It's just not finished. But then I made some other stuff. I made like a Santa wind chime. That looks neat. It was the painting process that probably wasn't the best on that. I'm not really a painter. My daughter is more of a painter than I am. She likes to paint. I'm not so good at it. We're trying to get better. I just finished a fox project too that I didn't show you on this. For my niece for Christmas. And we did a better job painting, but I only did staining. My daughter did the eyes. You'll see the eyes sometime. I'm going to show a picture of that. But that's a little bit of it. But like I said, I've never really ever thought of doing videos. Dave's always been more into videos than I have been. But the fox turned out so well. At least I did. I thought it turned out well. And I liked it. And I thought maybe, just maybe, I'll take him up on this idea that he had, that my next project, that I'll film it. Now, whether this totally gets put up or not, kind of depends, but it probably will. If I'm going this far to actually do this, it's probably going to end up going up online. But what people really need to remember is just that I'm not the best, and I will never claim to be the best at this. I am still learning. There's different processes that I'm still trying to figure out myself about how best to cut. And like I said, I like a brand new scroll saw. It might make things a little bit better for me. But you go from there. So yeah, the next step for me is to get the table saw out, cut these pieces into more manageable pieces, so like it would just be this head, and then I take that down in my scroll saw and I'll cut all of this out so that it'll just be this. Now I only put these things on with like school glue, the glue sticks. I don't need a really strong glue for this. I don't want a strong glue for this. I just made it to stick around long enough for me to cut them out. It says this one will have that I should drill out a hole for the eyes. Now I did that with the fox project that I haven't shown you. And then my daughter, the artist, decided to make some eyes for me, and she did it on a thing I thought was going to be the backdrop of the fox. It's on the lid now. And she did a really awesome job with the eyes. So, but I had already put in the drill hole because that's what the plans are called for. And then she did the eyes on top of that. So it doesn't look bad. It kind of looks like maybe the fox is crying a little bit. But I think with this one, I'll just leave this and I won't actually drill that hole out. I will actually just leave it as is. And then when I'm ready to that point, I'll probably get Caitlin to actually put the eyes on for me again. So she'll have 4 sets of eyes to do. Good practice for her. She'll like that. Yeah, so cut them out with the table saw. Then I gotta go down the scroll saw and cut them more fine detailed. So like getting the traces of all of this out. And then it's just a bunch of sanding, and this will be actually, unfortunately, a whole whack of hand sanding.